Welcome to the LCTV Show. My name is Mukala Kabongo. This program, we highlight organizations that are doing great in the Lynn community. Today, I have two special guests with me. I have Preston Hawkins and I have Kassandra Jackson. Preston is a coach for the Pop Warner A squad of West Lynn, and Kassandra is cheerleading director. So can you guys just give the audience a little history about yourselves?
My name is Preston Hawkins, obviously. I was born and raised in Lynn, Massachusetts all those years ago when we used to have a hospital there. I've been associated with West Lynn since I was a little kid. I played for West Lynn. I started actually coaching with West Lynn in my early 20s, so I'm showing my age a little bit. And recently, you know, just come back to the program to just help out the kids in the community.
Kassandra, I understand you're the cheerleader director?
Yeah, so I've been down at West Lynn for 14 years this season, and I became cheer coordinator last year. I actually started my Pop Warner history with East Lynn Pop Warner, and I cheered for English. And I just went to help out West Lynn because they needed some help, and we do it for the kids, so it's been a real enjoyable experience.
Oh, that is great. And so with being part of the West Lynn, what do you guys try to instill in the kids as to hold up the mission statement of West Lynn Pop Warner?
Well, excuse me. Our mission statement obviously is to, you know, take kids, you know, pretty much off the streets, give them some activities that, you know, they can kind of thrive in. We preach, you know, hard work, dedication, team building.
Resiliency during difficult times, and we want them to leave the program with these values so they can become contributing members of the society when they become adults and young teenagers.
And what would you say is the age range of the kids that you guys have to take care of?
We can take from 5 to 15 or 16, depending when their birthday is. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. And so you being involved with West Lynn football, let's just talk about some things that you try to teach them as far as football wise. When they first come to you, what are some of the things you try to teach them?
Well, excuse me again. Teamwork is extremely important. Some of these kids don't play well with each other, whether they come from, you know, different streets or different sets or some of those type of things. So getting the kids to, you know, buy into what you're trying to do and getting them working together is usually the hardest part about it. Most kids like to come down and run around and have a little fun, but you know, putting 20-something kids together and 9-year-olds could be a little difficult. You know, so.
Cass, can you just talk about the responsibility of overseeing so many people's children?
Oh, it's a lot more than I thought when I took it on, but thankfully we have some amazing families that come together and really help keep the program together. I've also been a coach too, so last year I was dipping in both coordinator and coach, so my responsibility was just to make sure that every team from the Mighty Mites all the way to the A squad had their paperwork, certifications, that they're showing up on time, if they're missing practices, and following up with parents, getting them to competitions, making sure their uniforms are right from head to toe. Music, there's a lot of things. The girls have to do a 2-minute and 30-second routine for a competition by the end of the season, and that takes a lot of hard work and dedication from both the coaches, trainers, people on the board, parents, and the girls themselves. Yeah,
hard work and dedication. You guys, as coaches, you have to teach them certain things that they should focus on. Let's talk about some of the things that goes into becoming successful in either football or cheerleading. Starting off with the proper way to eat. I mean, eating is a very good way for players or cheerleaders to keep their bodies fit. So what are some of the things that you try to tell them about nutrition and what they should put in their body? I'll let you go first, Kassandra.
Well, one thing with cheering is people underestimate that it really is a really intense sport. And with that comes a lot of working out and things like that. So we try to make sure the girls are very aware of what they're eating during the summer, because a lot of kids are home most of the day during the summer. So making sure they're not eating a bunch of sugary things, McDonald's and stuff like that. We tell them before they come to practice, make sure they eat some bread, some fruit, lots and lots and lots of water. We have water breaks every like 20 minutes because it's so hot when we begin. And off season this year, we were able to keep in touch with a lot of the girls and see them. So we were able to keep track of, how they were doing health-wise and stuff like that. But for the most part, we don't really put like dietary, not supplements, but we don't really put like a meal plan or anything together for them. But we take kids of all different shapes, sizes, ages, ethnicities. So with that, we just want to be mindful of their bodies when they're working out with us.
Now, Preston, I understand that for A squad, they have to maintain a certain weight to be a part of, to be on the team.
Yes.
Okay.
All kids have to go through a weighing when it comes to Pop Warner, depending on football in general. No, just Pop Warner. Youth, no weight. And so say this year, 190 is the weight for the A squad. You have to be 190 or less, and it goes up a pound every week. So by the end of the year, you can be 198. So as long as you fit into those guidelines and you're at a certain age between, 12, 13, 14, 15, you can be on an A squad.
And is there something that you guys do that try to help them maintain their weight during the season, as far as let's say what they should eat?
Yeah, it's tough. The 12, 13-year-old boys, that eat everything. So we try to be mindful, but we also want them to be kids, and it's really, in my opinion, a parent type of thing to keep to keep an eye on.
Now with football, you have to be in the best shape to play 4 quarters. I mean,
absolutely. Running
up and down the field, chasing people. So, like in season and off season, what are some of like the training methods or training stuff that you guys try to get them to do?
In season, especially the first couple of days, especially this year, we're going to use a more like a combine style type of thing. Just putting the kids through drills. You can't wear any helmets or anything the first week. So you just want to get the kids out there, see them running around in space, seeing how they do it, see how their coordination is, and that type of stuff. Out of season, a lot of these kids play other sports, and they just don't correlate. Sometimes it's, playing basketball is a lot different than playing football, so it's never the same. It's like starting over every single year.
All right. Kassandra, what are some of the things that you try to tell the cheerleading coaches that work under you?
Running is very big with cheerleading, because you have to keep your stamina up, because when you're doing the routine, you're yelling, you're throwing girls in the air, you're moving from place to place, and you have to maintain a good voice level. But the first 2 to 3 weeks with the cheerleaders is very intense workouts. We do a lot of drills, like arm drills, to tighten up their muscles and stuff like that, push-ups, burpees, frog jumps, tuck jumps, bear crawls, things like that. But we make it fun for them. We play games with them. We have water balloon fights. We try to get the little ones involved with the older ones, and it really is a fun time. They enjoy it. They don't really realize they're working so hard when they do it.
Yeah, and with cheerleading, it's such a very interesting sport, because not a lot of people think that people don't look at cheerleaders as being athletic, but they're probably the most athletic people on the field and stuff.
Gravity all the time.
So as far as safety is concerned, like they're throwing each other in the air, they're doing backflips and stuff. Well, how do you try to make sure that they do it the proper way so they don't twist the ankle or things like that?
Every coach has to be trained and certified. We have to go to clinics, we have to do online trainings, and we have to pass tests to make sure that everybody is fully aware of the proper way to do things. We don't do a lot of like backflips and stuff like that, because none of us are actual trained like gymnasts. But we make sure before we move on to any step that they can master the foundation of it. So if we're going to be lifting girls in the air, we need to make sure that all the girls are in sync with clapping their hands, going down at the same time, their bodies are all nice and tight, because we're not going to let them put people in the air when they're all flimsy and wobbly and unsure of themselves. And we would never have a girl do something if they're not comfortable doing it, because if that was something we did, we'd have a lot of injuries. So safety is very, very important to us. And again, with being in the sun and things like that, we make sure they have sunblock, we make sure they're getting lots of water breaks, resting their bodies. We do cool down stretches at the end of practice. So it's
just follow up. What are some? Who do you like put in order in in order with the girls when they're doing their routine, like as far as lifting each other in the air?
I mean, if the girls are going up when we begin, we only have, because you only need 4 girls to lift somebody in the air. So we'll have 4 girls start, the rest of the girls will go around them in a circle with their hands up. You'll have a head coach, a couple trainers, myself, and if any girl falls, we're all there to catch them. And that really helps with the team bonding too as well, because they have to learn to trust each other. So.
Preston, for player safety, I know the NFL, college football, high school football, there's always been a lot of talk about concussions. They've been doing a lot of research. The NFL, I mean, retired players or players that died, their brains get donated to certain medical institutions for CTE, things like that. So what do you do at West Lynn to make sure like these players know the proper way of playing football so they don't get concussion of tackling and things like that?
Well, you need to be in shape. Was very important, because once you get tired, your fundamentals start going, and that's how you can start getting injuries. So being in shape, and also very important to be properly equipped, making sure your helmet fits correctly, making sure your shoulder pads fit correctly, making sure nothing's too big or too loose or anything that can get in the way of causing you to injure yourself. And that's really what it comes down to. We stress fundamentals. We want the kids to make sure that everything's proper stance. You want to do things the proper way, and you want to teach it the proper way, so it avoids injuries going, right away from the jump, and that type of stuff.
And for practices, do you guys have certain days where you guys are in pads and not in pads, or certain days where you guys do tackle and non-contact practices?
Yes. You want to kind of have a mixture. Some days it's too hot. Some days, sometimes, you just beat your team up a little bit, so you might want to give them some time off. And then, it helps with wear and tear and those type of things. So yeah, we do that type of stuff.
And in the dog days of summer, we're just going to go back to the being in shape. In the dog days of summer, it's really hot. You guys are out there in the sun. So how do you make sure that players don't, they don't get dehydrated and things like that, being in the heat all summer?
A lot of water breaks, and I normally try to shorten the time that I have them reserve energy. So for instance, if I'm doing a drill and I normally have the drill for 5 minutes, I might do it 2.5 minutes and that type of stuff, because you just want to make sure everything is safety.
And with the cheerleaders, you guys are out there as well in the dog days of summer, so like.
We're doing the same thing again, lots and lots and lots of water. We bring them to the shade for rest. A lot of, if it's really, really hot, we won't have them do like a lot of jumping jacks and stuff like that. It might be like more of a stretching and conditioning type of day. But again, it's very, very important that they're drinking water. And we always kind of do check-ins with the girls when they do arrive, because sometimes, girls might not have eaten before they came or didn't have enough water, or somebody might look like they're already very exhausted. So we would have them sit and rest and, just watch what we're doing so they're not missing anything.
Oh, okay. And as far as the competition aspect of it, you got football, you get a bunch of kids playing the competition, the adrenaline rush is going high. Cheerleading, it's not the same, but there's still competition. Can you guys just speak on the aspect of the competition?
It's very intense. Like I said, people have been underestimating cheerleading for years, and it's starting to come up in the sports world. And competitions, it's not just one and done. These girls want to make it to nationals in Disney World. And last year we were so grateful to have a C squad to make it all the way to nationals in Disney and place second in the nation. But the competitions, I mean, we go against, could be up to 7 to 9 teams, and they're only going to take 2. So it's really important that the girls try their hardest, do their best, and competitions are really fun for them to see other teams in the way that they've come out during the season. And it's a really good chance for the girls to exhibit all their skills. We want to highlight each individual girl in a competition routine so they can have their moment. It's awesome.
Can you speak on that for your players?
I think coaching cheerleading is harder than coaching football, personally.
Thank you for that.
Personally, but now I'm off my topic.
You guys get the game every Sunday, but when you make it to playoffs, it's a whole nother.
Yeah, I mean, it's coaching young men. I think is very satisfying. It's fun to be able to take a group of young individuals who, you know, don't have goals or don't, you know, they're just coming out to play and building something and building bonds. A lot of my friends that I have now, to this day, I've met through Pop Warner. So, you know, very lasting relationships, and it's just a good bonding thing. Good way to, you know, enjoy some time.
You make memories that last.
Yeah, so that basically goes back to the mission statement of Pop Warner. So like, just elaborate a little more on you guys, the way you guys upkeep that, try to upkeep the mission, try to keep it intact.
I mean, it's really important for the coaches to come up with ideas to keep the girls interested in what's going on, because coming 5 days a week in the summer, it's very redundant. It does become a little bit of a, I don't want to say nuisance, but I remember being younger, like, oh, I have to go to practice again. So it's really important for coaches to make sure that they're up and up with what's going on, what's happening, and build relationships with the families. I've had pizza parties at my house, pool parties, we've had sleepovers, we've hung out at the beach. So it's just about building a sense of community within your team that can extend into the whole program and into the community.
And Kassandra, you guys don't know, Kassandra and I, we went to high school together, so I know exactly what she's talking about. So, so for yourself, what are some of the things that you've seen changed when you became the coaches of the A squad?
What have I seen change since I've been a coach? Good question. Safety's definitely changed. Safety's definitely changed. They definitely do a lot more to make sure that the kids are safe than they did when I ever played. Because, you know, they just threw a helmet on you and just threw you out there, and that was pretty much it. So safety's definitely a big thing. They do tons of more training, a lot more training. You know, when I was younger, they didn't have USA football and those type of things to make sure you got certified and all those type of things. So I definitely have to say training and education has definitely been.
Yeah, Papa Warner is very education based. They even give scholarships for kids who maintain certain GPAs throughout their education. And we don't play as many people. We used to play Beverly, Salem, Peabody, all those towns. Now we're playing the Boston teams and like really further out.
So it's expanded some more?
I think it's kind of gotten smaller. We don't play those teams anymore because they're all in the youth program.
Okay.
So now we're traveling to South Boston and Brockton and Worcester and those places. But that's Rhode Island, but it's still an experience. Some kids haven't even been out of the city. So for us to be the first ones to bring them somewhere, it's still, you know, a memory we're making with them and their families. And it's nice.
Kassandra, could you just speak on some of the things you've learned from your cheerleading days that you kind of brought over as cheerleader director?
Well, I can definitely thank my high school cheering coach, Christy Lacey. She was phenomenal. She showed us how amazing cheering is, because Papa Warner is a different ballgame than high school. And for me to go from high school back to Papa Warner teaching, it's been really amazing to see how those high school skills can trickle down into Papa Warner now. It's amazing to see what these young girls can do, even boys, because there's boys that cheer as well. Just the skill level of some of these kids is absolutely mind-blowing. They have no fear.
It's hard work. Cheering is hard work.
As far as you, I mean, did you play football growing up? Or?
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you learned that you kind of brought to the program?
Hard work. When I used to play football, or you know, in those days, I just kind of took it for granted. Kind of played, you know, because everyone else kind of played. Didn't really take it serious. Takes a lot of hours and a lot of hard work to, you know, to be successful at anything, let alone on the football field. So, if that's one thing. Hard work is something I've definitely learned in my older age.
All right, and lastly, how can people get involved? You guys are a nonprofit, so how can people get involved? How can parents and other people in the community get involved?
We're always looking for board members. So
coaches as well.
Always looking for coaches. I need 2 assistants from my staff. So anyone watching this video, if you are interested in coming down, please contact us right away, because I could definitely need some help.
Yeah, same goes for us. It's been a lot of the same cheering coaches for the past couple of years, and we've been getting by pretty well, but it would be amazing to see people from the community come and step in and try to help. It is a major dedication, especially for people who work to come down there 5 days a week. But even just showing your face and letting the girls and the boys know you support them. We do take donations if people want to help with anything at all. We have fundraisers throughout the season and throughout the off season. And showing up at games. Our home field is Manning Fields. Every Sunday it's either us or East Lynn, so come down and support the kids anyway.
All right. So with that being said, well, we're going to wrap up. I just want to thank my guests, Preston and Kassandra. You guys have been great. It was a pleasure to have you here. And as far as for me, my name is Mukala Kabongo here at Lynn Community TV Show, and we're signing off, and we'll see you when we see you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
No problem.